Well, we have got a superstorm coming down out there. Good evening, everybody. Tonight I'm going to address this video that I posted, Prophecy and Prediction 8. Seems that it wasn't received well by a lot of people. That one and the Mandela effect, or the truth about the flat Earth video. I lost about 37 subscribers altogether for those two videos. And it just shows that when you challenge people's reality and their core beliefs, they tend to not want to open their eyes or listen. And it's a shame because those two issues are, in my opinion, two of the strongest physical attachments that keep you living in the prison. But so I'm gonna go into this deal on love more. I wasn't saying that we shouldn't have love for another. I'm not saying that we should not love our children, and the word was misconstrued. The definition of love that we know is different from what love is. And we have been taught purposely to believe that love is what we think it is. It is because keeps you looking and depending on something outside of yourself. All the truth channels, all the spirit channels, all the everything, they all love and light, love and light, love and light. As long as you're saying love and light, you're not going to make it to the light, because love plays no part. The state that we exist in without intention, the 0 point state, that could be perceived as love, but that is pure unconditional love. And it's not a state of attachment or codependency or emotional attachments. I mean, it's when you love somebody, you gotta realize lies. Why do you love them? Most people tend to love people. It's either you love your children, which is unconditional, or you love a partner or a friend or something like that. If it's not family, the people you love come into your love by works, by acts, by things that they do. So if someone can do something to gain your love, that's no different than passing judgment. Why do you love one person and not another? Because one person does something for you to love them, and the other person doesn't. Do you see where the flaw in that thinking comes? And with family, it's a guaranteed love. I mean, even though it doesn't work that way in the real world, because there's, mothers that don't give a shit about their kids, and kids that don't give a shit about their parents, and, every different, type of dichotomy that you can, associate, in different subcategories of different reasons. But in essence, what I'm trying to say is that we generally love people because A, we've either been taught that we're supposed to, or B, they've done something for us to make us love them. And there may be, a couple others, but those are the two main reasons. So let's break those two main reasons down a little bit, and for all the scientifically minded, analyze them. When we're young, we need things. We need someone to take care of us. And immediately, the person that takes care of us, we start developing a bond with, and we have this feeling that you would call love for. And it's because they nurture us and they fill our needs. Now, if your mother doesn't give you the proper needs, or your father doesn't give you the proper needs, then your character is going to be flawed, because you have not been developed the way that, has a solid foundation of all around brainwashing, so to say, or teaching. And we grow up with this feeling that we have for our parents, and we're told that that's love. So as we grow older and we start learning about our sexuality, we start realizing that that way we feel when we love somebody causes us to be stimulated for some people, and we're not supposed to be stimulated for others. So we're taught that we should love our mother, and then we should love our wife. So what most times men will seek out a woman that is essentially their mother, because men look for a woman that fills their needs. And who fills your needs? Your mother. So it's called the Oedipus Complex. And the father is basically meant to have a resentment for the child coming in and being between him and the woman's relationship. And, the child basically grows up to marry his mother. So, it's as twisted as this may sound, we're conditioned to believe that feeling that we have means this for this person or that for that person, and when to feel it and how to feel it. And we're taught all these things about that feeling, but the truth is that feeling should be felt at all times for everybody equally, with no sexual intent or desire placed on it, because we perverse that feeling and associate it with sex. It's obvious that we need to be stimulated in order to perform sex, but that is a byproduct of this energy, because this energy, as I said, we are of a sexual nature, so we exist as sex organs. That's what we are. We're walking, talking penis and vaginas. Like, that's what we are. And it this energy translate into sex, okay? But sex is for reproduction, and reproduction only. All less evolved animals have sex to reproduce. They don't have sex for fun. It's not a recreational pastime. They don't go down to the watering hole to get some, unless it's mating season. And we take our free will and desire and place it on, everything that we've been taught what sex means to us. And I'm sorry to be the one to tell you that, your interpretation is wrong. And mine was as well. These answers this doesn't come from me. People have a hard time listening to my voice and hearing the things that I say and accepting them, because we have this preconceived notion or concept of what a prophet should be, or what one of God's people should be, or someone with the truth should be. Like, unless they come down on a cloud with a halo blowing trumpets, an angel singing in the background, and it's on the nightly news, people don't believe it, and they're too judgmental. Forget my voice. Forget the person that's behind you telling you this. Internally examine this, and then try to apply it and see if it holds any merit. That's how you get your answers. But regardless, These answers come to me. This information has been given to me to give, and a lot of times when I'm talking with you guys, things come out because it's like automatic writing. A lot of these channels and like higher self and these channels that have you know channelers and psychics and things of that nature. A lot of them talk and do automatic writing where they just write and they don't think, they just write, and whatever comes out is their message, their higher self, their channeled message. And I speak that way. I do automatic speaking. So when I speak, the truth just flows out of me, and the real, because I do attach my opinions, but I've learned how and when to attach my opinions and when and how to channel the energy. So our mind is like a computer. You need to learn how to use it like a computer. And coming back to this feeling. So when we have this feeling, it's basically the energy source for our creative potential in this reality. This reality limits us. Like, it's not even like this reality is we are make no mistake, we are chained. Like, this is hell, although there is lower levels. But we're taught this feeling and what it should mean and what it means, and it's none of those. We are meant to have that feeling for every single person all the time without judgment. Any type of judgment you need to remove from your life or from yourself, because judgments are one of the key things that keep you locked down. As long as you judge others, you will stay in your prison of judgment, because it even says in the Bible that we will judge ourselves. We will judge ourselves. And it also says, well, I'm going to stay away from that. So anyway, so when you're taught by your environment to love somebody or something for a certain reason, would you have developed that on your own? Would you have developed that understanding on your own? It's possible, but it's not likely. What I'm saying is by us being taught, we are ingraining the principles that have been ingrained into us. And those principles that have been ingrained into us have been ingrained to us through popular culture, music, television, society, and it all comes down to the people that control the content that we see. The media. That's why it's called media. A media is a go-between. A media is a relay. It's media. It's something that's used as a buffer in between two things, and the media has been utilized for the ungodly amount of power that it contains in the ability to reach each one of us. So we've been taught to cling to these emotions that have been all just classified in this huge big group. See, loving people and sex and everything that you can imagine of as a love has been thrown into this big group, this big classification that's everything falls under the umbrella of love, when that's not true. It's not true at all. Love is holding the best intention for those around us without attaching ourselves to it. Because in essence, for those of you that believe in the Bible, the golden rule is to do unto your neighbor as you would do unto yourself. Because as you love yourself, you love other people. If you hate people, the energy doesn't go to them and affect them. It affects you. It affects them as well, but it affects you, because there's no way to differentiate for your brain whether it's you or another person, because we're all of the same entity. So anything that you think, feel, project, you're feeling, and projecting on yourself. And it all lies within. It's going to continuously come back to that. There's no way around it. Everything lies within. And the sooner you realize that by you attaching yourself to people, you are doing just that. It's like setting anchors into this reality. Your tentacles, it's like, boom, you got your tentacle, and your mother, your kid, you got these tentacles and all these different things that are anchoring you here in this reality. And for some people, that's okay. I'm not saying that that's wrong, but I'm just saying that it goes against what I'm trying to teach people how to do, or to understand. It's not, everybody isn't going to get this. This isn't everybody wins a trophy. I mean, you will eventually. In a sense, everybody does win a trophy. But the only thing that separates that is a long, vast period of time and incarnations. I mean, some people's cycles are behind other people's cycles, and other people's are, 10 times what other people's are. Generally, older souls are more inclined to understand what I'm talking about. I have seen the many lifetimes that I have lived here, and I've done a lot, and I'm starting to, all these memories are coming back to me, like for example, when we have dreams that we're in, some type of world that's realistic, but we've never seen it before. Oftentimes, those are residual memories that lay within our energy field that you're tapping into. And it's essential to understand that our body work as a conductor, as positive and negative. And within us lies everything, both ends of the circuits. Your feet, or your root chakra, are your base, and your crown is the top. And there's energy that's flowing up and down, in and around, in and out. It's like I said, when we desire things, we're projecting our desire outside of ourselves, which is, in essence, how we exist. It's how we are here. By pushing the energy through your feet, you're essentially pushing it past your roots chakra. Send it below everything. You got to send it below, because when you push it past your root chakra, it's got to go through from your crown, through all your chakras, into your root. And your root is what basically this energy of pure love, not love in what you think, but love as in our creational energy, exists at our core, which is our root, because our sexuality is basically where we come from. We are what beings. We are everything. I mean, that's when you look at the root of each being, how does it recreate? What is the most important part? All dualities exist as one thing. Hot, cold, love, hate. When you start splitting them and categorizing them separately, that's when you're basically splitting our reality. That's when you're that's basically how we exist. There's no, there's no wrong or right. There's no love or fear. There's no hot and cold. There's no black and white. There's only one. And one encompasses everything. But as a whole, when you split things up into groups, or you categorize things, you're separating them. And when you separate things from their natural state, which is a state of one, of perfection, you basically flaw it. Because if you are changing it from the way it was designed, then you are now, using your will to create. And that's the knowledge of good and evil. That's the tree. That's the secret. This is important information. Okay? Because when you realize that our thought isn't necessary, and our feelings aren't necessary, and that our existence isn't necessary, then you realize more what I'm trying to get at. Because God doesn't need us and our thoughts to exist. God doesn't need our desires to exist. They already exist. Now, there's many things and theories of why we're here and, what our purpose is. And as I stated in my video with the evolution of a soul, I was shown, from that moment forward, the creation. And as I said, we came through by our sexuality first. And basically we now realize the mistake that we've made, and we're trying to make it back. And we have already grown way past what we conceive ourselves to be now. We're basically living in the past. It's like getting so far, and then going back in the past, because it's like putting in all the cheat codes to a game. And then you got, unlimited lives, unlimited weapons, unlimited everything. And then you beat the game, and it's not any fun. The game isn't any fun, because you have all the codes, you have all the secrets, you have everything. So to make the game more interesting, wipe all the codes all out and start from the beginning and try to go through and, get every coin, or, and you do that to have fun. Well, that's essentially what we're doing here. We already exist as everything in the future, and we came back here basically in order to play this game. And this game has already been won, and this game has already happened. It's just like when we think. When we think, we run different scenarios through in our mind, and basically live vicariously through daydreams, or through our imagination. Like if you see if you're a man and you see a woman at the mall, you fantasize. Or if you're a woman and you see a man at the mall, you fantasize. And you run all these different things through your head, and you live those different things in your mind. And those things aren't just, not there. Like, they create. I remember when I was younger, I'm not trying to sound vain, and I say this with, as little ego possible. When I was younger, I remember I always any girl that I wanted, I literally dated, the best looking girls in school, like everything. Never had a problem. I walk in the room and I've always been vain. I look at, I find the most attractive female in the room, and then, just silently give her the vibe, and it always worked. Like, I never understood it. Like I could tell. I'm not gonna, I'm not trying to brag, but I'm just there's a moral to it. So, like, I remember when we were younger, going to like Gettysburg at the pool, and there was this, one girl who was gorgeous, and I was sitting out there just laying in the sun, and I just thought to myself, like, I just had this feeling of, like, I got you type, like I don't know how to describe it, like I didn't, it's hard to explain. I didn't send anything at her consciously. I just felt a connection, an attraction, and didn't fantasize it about it at all. And within 20 minutes, she ended up coming over and asking me my name and talking to me, and just multiple things like that. Being younger and going ice skating because I played hockey, and we'd go skating and stuff, and there was this skating rink that was roller skating on one side and ice hockey on the other, and we'd go there on the weekends, and sneak a little bit of alcohol in, and have a good time. It was fun, and I remember every time I would just look for the best looking girl and just silently like will her to me without will. And as I got older, I started, learning all these things and seeing all this, like, for example, like The Secret, the power of intention, and the law of attraction and all that. It's all a load of crap, because they teach you to use your conscious mind to perform what you gotta do, to visualize it and hold it. Like, no, you don't do any of that. The Secret is the biggest scam out there. And I started trying to will things, and like, I went through my problems with this stuff at the beginning, like thinking that I was God, and that if I had this mentality, like, I'm God, that all things that I could basically wave my hand over things and make shit happen, and we all have to come to grips with that side of us, with our ego, and our egos have a mind of their own, and that is your conscious mind. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying these things to brag. I'm relating my experience so you can, try to relate it to yourself or understand what I'm trying to say. So as I got older, I started trying to will things to me. Like, I started trying to will stuff. And my magic with women, I mean, I still have a beautiful wife now. I like that. These aren't my. This is not like. I could care less about this, but I'm just relating one specific example. My wife that I have now. I seen her when I was 18. One time, briefly, outside of a bar, actually, and well, it wasn't. It was like a restaurant, but I seen her, and I thought to myself, wow, she is gorgeous. And if there's ever been that one person that made an impression on you, you think back, a year may go by, 2 years may go by, and you think back to that moment, like, I wonder whatever happened to that person. I wonder where they are and what they're doing, or, whatever. So this was one of those moments. And, I ended up, like I said, I'm in my 30s. So this was some time ago, and about 15 years. So a couple years after this, my life continues, and I ended up meeting someone and was with them for 3 years and had a kid, and all this stuff. So anyway, it was an unhealthy relationship, and I had to be the one to end it. So I did, and within, and I told myself, I'm going to be happy. I'm not going to live miserable. I'm not going to live with somebody that just we didn't see eye to eye. So this is right when I started learning about how to create and things like that. So I told myself, well, actually, no. At this point in time, I stopped. When that happened, I gave up. It was the day before Valentine's, some years ago now, and I gave up altogether. I was like, I'm done. I'm just gonna have fun. I had a new car, the whole nine, my own place, so I go to have fun, and I was on the computer. And to make a long story short, I got this message from this girl, and we start talking, and we go out on a date, and whatever, and we were together like every day. Well, I realized within a couple days that she was that girl that I had seen that one time that I thought about afterwards. And how did she come to me? Like how is that possible? Like, after all these years, all these situations, never knew who she was, she never knew me, and somehow she came to me, and we've been together for 7 years, and she came to me, and we've had our ups and downs, but I try to use we through our ups and downs, we've broken up a couple times, and always, I'm moving on, and I've tried to make connections with other people, but it feels like that power that I used to have, where I just hold it, like just will it, or not think about it, just make it happen, just by the intention. That power stopped working because I stopped using it the way I used to, and I started trying to make things happen. So it wasn't until I started trying to make things happen that they started not happening. So I always tried to understand the logistics, something that's repeatable, that I could tell somebody, like, this is how I do it, and I get the same result every time. I've always tried to analyze this to come up with, a formula to be able to use, and I just wasn't receiving information back then like I do now, because I really didn't have the best intentions, and ones I did have were about fulfilling my desires. The point is that I've demonstrated, that's the before, that's the after. I see the different applications of different processes in order to make things happen, and I see what worked and what didn't work, and that's essentially what my book is about. I found a way to be able to to summarize this into a process that you can practically use and practically apply every day. And it comes down to basically everything is not thinking, not placing attachment on it, not loving, not hating, not fearing, none of that. Let it all go and follow direction. And when you start following your guides, and your true self will start coming out, and then you'll start to understand what this is. Because when you see all these, like for example, when I first started doing music, I used to think, how do people freestyle? How do people just say all these witty things, rhyming them while not stopping, continuously just thinking of smart things to say? And I mean, granted, there's a lot that don't, but there are some that do, allegedly. So I used to think, how is this possible for people to do this? Because I'm, extremely intelligent and I wasn't capable. I mean, I could go for a while and then I just, whatever. It wasn't, this is one of the main things that happened when I received my first vision. This is one of the main problems that were on the table, and I one day I just let everything go. I stopped trying to sound like this person. I stopped trying to sound like that person. I stopped worrying about what people would want to hear and what they'd like, and I just moved forward without thinking about it. And something amazing happened, and that was that this river opened up and just started pouring out, and all these things started coming out that I didn't recognize as being me, and they were me. They were the true me. And I developed this whole original style that was me. It didn't sound like anybody. It wasn't a part of anything. It was me. And it wasn't until I was honest with myself and dropped all these thoughts and all this confusion that I was able to open that up. And that's what I have found, how life works and how everything works is, you just got to open it up and let it flow without trying to will it in any certain direction. After you learn the basics and you have a good foundation of how to do this, then you can start applying it, because life is a gift and we are here, whether it's holographically or whatever your perception is. We are here, and we obviously have to make the best of it, and there are things that we find joy in here. So once you start learning how to use these things, you start understanding when and how to apply your will to things. And one of the things, like I said, that my will I applied to was even getting this information out there, because as I said in other videos, I was specifically told not to release this, not to give this out. I was specifically told, anybody who has spirit guides that they get this information, they're told to keep it to themselves. And that's the decision that I made with my willpower to bring this forward, because while we are here, you can't help but care about when you see starving children on TV, or when you see animals getting beat, or when you see all the crazy stuff that's happening in the world. You can't help but to feel for them, or to feel for it. And even though I know better, and even though my higher self knows that doesn't matter, once they're dead, it doesn't matter anymore, right? I don't mean to sound callous or cruel, but that this body doesn't matter. This is a machine. It's a biomechanical machine that holds our consciousness. And at the end of the day, when that body dies, that consciousness is still alive. So there's nothing that can hurt us. There's nothing. It's just temporary suffering and pain. But being here and witnessing it, and knowing that you have the potential and the power to do something about it, is another story. And a lot of people struggle with understanding, the concept of time. Time only exists because we separate things. If we didn't separate things, there would be no time. So by us separating love and fear and all these different emotions or energies or positively and negatively charged ions, as we charge these things and split them, as we split matter, okay, because that's what we're doing. We're splitting matter. As we split matter, that creates this dualistic nature that we live in, and it basically, keeps us trapped in this cause and effect reality. So for those of you that are interested in becoming more and moving forward on your journey, you need to understand that it's not until you basically absolve, or best word I could say is integrate. It's not until you integrate all these things into one. And imagine, you know, imagine like a ball of light. And that ball of light is just, it's loose, it's out, and it's not compressed very much. It's just out, real big dynamic range. Now, when you compress that light and you push that light down, that light is going to push back. And what pushes back can only be what it is that's creating it. So the light is good, as it says in the Bible, is good. It is positive. It is everything. The light, our essence, the God, whatever you want to call it, Christ. It's good. So whatever it creates is going to follow suit. And when we compress that by neutraling all these dual and all these separate states of nature, when we neutralize those, combine them, and then integrate them, this light starts compressing. And when it starts compressing, it starts moving outwards. It's like a star, okay? And as the star compresses, it also expands and it pushes outwards. And that's what's going on with the earth right now. That's what's going on with the sun right now. And that's what's going on with us right now. So as this star expands, and the more you compress, the more it's going to expand. And if you can imagine compressing that to infinity, imagine what's within that. You know what I mean? Like, it's only steady gaining, by you doing that. By trying to put thoughts out into the world, you're not compressing your light. You're letting your light, be sloppy and loose and, just hang in the air. Like, it's not doing shit. It's not doing nothing. So, it's hard for us to understand that by absolving things, by sending them to by not having any opinion, that our true nature will come through. See, every day you wear masks, and those masks are people that you want people to perceive you as, people that you want to be, things that you want to be, things you want to experience. There's many different things. But those masks are all just that. They're a lie. And they're not you. So when you stop trying to act or be a certain way, then the real you starts coming out. Then you find out who you really are. So that's why this is not available for everybody, because most people don't have any concept of, and they're trying and they're acting so much, and that acting and that trying comes out of fear. It comes out of the fear of what we think about, what people think about us, what we want people to think about us, many different things. But that is essentially a fear. And by loving people, it's the same thing. Fear and love, as I just said, exist as the same. They're just different opposites. They're different sides of the spectrum. So by understanding that by giving it away, by sacrificing, you receive. Because we exist as a positive that's in a negative nature. Okay, so everything in this negative nature is of a negative. It doesn't exist. Alright? So by sacrificing the negative, we're going to get the positive. I mean, it's really, it comes down to very simple. You get what but it's just a lot more complicated, and it's a lot harder to apply. And it's not until you start making these correlations that you'll start having faith in it. And when you start having faith in it, it's a whole new ball game. Whole new ball game. So, like I said, you gotta basically absolve all opinions and desires and intents and emotions. I mean, all that, everything. You need to just transmute everything. Just push it down, and as it goes down through each one of your chakras, the frequency will tune itself, and then you ground it out into the earth, and then you become, it's like a torus, and then the energy comes in, and you got to channel it. You got to receive it. You don't try to push it, because if you're trying to push it out or to make your own will, then you're going to not only be blocking the energy that's coming in, but you're going to be pushing your energy out, and it's going to be blocked by what's trying to come in. So you're always going to get, an undetermined effect. I mean, these are a lot of esoteric, principles and meanings, and I hope people are understanding the analogies and the way I'm trying to say it. I'm gonna cut this short for tonight, and continue elaborating on it in further videos. But I just wanted to get this, a little clarification out there, and try and explain a little bit better than what I did for all those that haven't had a chance to get the book yet. Like I said, it's set up on a donation basis, so the link will be below, and it is, like I said, it's an instruction manual to becoming psychic or tuned, and to being able to utilize and apply these things. There are things that you can do immediately to begin working with the energies that you can tangibly see, and like I said, the link will be below if you're interested. I have another video I'll be working on getting up here soon, so stay vigilant, stay tuned.